From classrooms to family rooms, kids, teachers, and parents are fighting to end bullying. But in Lansing, our lawmakers have failed to act.
They've earned Michigan what some would call an embarrassing distinction, one of only 3 states with no anti-bullying law.
Tonight, Action News investigator Ross Jones uncovers the hot-button issue holding up the passage of a law meant to protect your kids.
It's been a dark cloud hanging over the state capitol for more than a decade. Since 1999, scores of bills have been introduced in Michigan's legislature aiming to outlaw bullying in schools. And Lansing gridlock has killed each one.
When you listen to the rhetoric, it's almost like they believe that gay kids shouldn't be protected.
We don't need that political agenda in this bill.
Perhaps no one has fought harder for an anti-bullying law in Michigan than Kevin Epling.
47 states have passed us, and we're waiting. We're still waiting. We're losing kids every year.
His son Matt took his own life in 2002 after being repeatedly tormented in high school. Since then, he's made passing Matt's Safe Schools law his life's mission. It's been held up every step of the way.
It's a holdup because of just perceptions overall. And that's what we're fighting here. You know, these kids, they are who they are. They can't help that. All of us are different, and we should be.
And what stopped the legislation, according to Epling and Capitol insiders, is political gridlock over 2 words.
A sexual orientation is what the issue is between these 2 bills. Specific. You got 2 sides out there in the public, in the legislature, in the whole country on that issue.
Troy Senator John Papageorge and most of his fellow Republicans have resisted passing the original version of Matt's law. The bill protects students from being bullied over any distinguishing characteristic and goes further, naming groups of students who are most targeted, like the overweight, disabled, and gay students. He and other Republican lawmakers like Tom McMillan oppose the bill, saying mentioning targeted students isn't needed.
It's unnecessary, and it only begs the question, why are you doing it?
I don't think anyone can deny that GLBT students tend to be see the greatest brunt of discrimination, harassment, and bullying.
Westland Senator Glenn Anderson introduced Matt's law in 2005. He says Republicans and religious groups have fought his bill, saying it creates a protected class for gay students.
They have tried to portray it as something that is providing special rights to GLBT students. And it is not true. The legislation is all-encompassing.
We do have to pay attention to these groups because the research is showing us that the kids with disabilities, the kids that are perceived as gay, the kids that are different are the ones that are at the top level of bullying.
The staunchest opponent to Anderson's bill isn't in the state legislature. He's Gary Glenn, president of the American Family Association of Michigan, a conservative Christian group that has the ear of many Republican legislators. Glenn fears that if the bill becomes law, it could lead to same-sex marriage or adoption in Michigan. And mentioning gay students in a bullying bill, he says, promotes a homosexual lifestyle.
To give students protection expressly based on their engaging in homosexual behavior gives the approval of the school system, in our view, to such behavior, which we don't think is in the best interest of students.
Glenn says that scientific studies have shown that a homosexual lifestyle can lead to serious health risks.
So domestic violence, mental illness, STDs, eating disorders, AIDS, cancer, hepatitis, all serious and expensive and life-threatening diseases.
Even bills that don't mention sexual orientation have died in Michigan's legislature. So, looking for a middle ground, Republican Senator Rick Jones introduced a bill that doesn't name any targeted groups. It says that all pupils are protected. It hasn't pleased all parents, but most view it as a step in the right direction.
There may be some elected officials that believe if you put gay into Michigan law, that then that would advance perhaps gay marriage or gay couple adoption.
Democrats insist that's not their motivation in naming 12 groups they say are most targeted in schools. They blame their colleagues across the aisle.
There's some people who are homophobic, and that is their whole purpose is to make sure that we don't pass legislation that...
Regardless of the reasons for gridlock, it's been 12 years, 3 governors, and at least 10 school suicides since Michigan's first anti-bullying bill was introduced.
I've seen other states, both parties, come together to do what's right for their kids, and we've been locked in partisan politics over this simple issue, and we've lost lives along the way. You lose lives because you're not doing your job, you don't get a good grade.
Senator Anderson's bill requires that each school report yearly bullying totals to the state. Senator Jones's does not. For that reason, some parents fear Jones's bill lacks teeth and won't track whether or not schools are making progress in stopping bullies. Jones says his bill is just a start and that reporting requirements could be added down the road. I'm Ross Jones, Channel 7 Action News.